Hey guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and in today's video we're going to talk about mermaid pods and what the heck they are. Okay, so before I get into the video, just so you guys are clear, this is my definition of what pods are, so you may have a different definition, but I wanted to give you my mermaid perspective on what mermaid pods are. So a group of mermaids who belong to a community is referred to as a mermaid pod. So this can be broken down a couple of different ways, getting from a larger group and then smaller and smaller. So for example, I belong to the Canadian Mermaid Pod. Within that, I belong to the BC Mermaid Pod. And then within that, I belong to the Vancouver Mermaid Pod. And then underneath that, I have a family pod of group of girls who I'm really close to, who I swim with a lot. So that it kind of gets broken down that way. So that's how I choose to look at it. But from an outsider's perspective, it's like, well, what the heck is a mermaid pod? Like, what are you talking about? It's basically just how we refer to ourselves in a group setting. So some of the cool features of belonging to a pod, meetups are a really popular thing. I think I only went to one meetup last year. There were a couple of like smaller gatherings that I went to, but of the actual BC Mermaid Pod, there was only, I think, one meetup that I went to. And I had hosted a Vancouver Mermaid Pod meetup in 2015. I really would like to do another one at some point. Might be kind of cool. But yeah, there's also online communities. And so if you're in an area and you don't feel like there are enough people to have a pod or meetups or that kind of thing, it still counts as like if you belong to that community online. So in my area, I'm fortunate there's a lot of mermaids who live in my area, but there's some people who don't have anybody else in their area who does what we do. And you can still belong to a pod online. That still counts, okay? That's still like a thing. So, and these different pods will have different Facebook groups that you can look up. So the Canadian Mermaid Pod has its own Facebook group. There's a couple of other ones that are focused for different locations and whatnot. A popular way to find out if your area already has a pod that you could check out would be to visit MerNetwork. The MerNetwork. If I remember, I will hopefully leave a link in the description box below. Courtney, don't forget. But yeah, so check out there. There is actually a board that breaks it down for the different areas. And if there isn't a pod in the area that you're in, why don't you start one? You could start one, you could make a Facebook group, you could put a post up on MerNetwork and see if there's anybody else in your area who would be interested in getting together. Pods are basically just a really nice way to share our experiences with other people who are interested in what we're interested in. It's a great way to network as well with different pods. It also is a great way to share information, because a lot of different groups will have their different boards and whatnot on Facebook. They're different groups. And if you have something, you can share it amongst different people. It sort of spreads, you can spread a message or what have you. For example, like I share my videos, you will have, who knows where you're seeing this. I would be curious to know where you found this video. If you just found it through search or whatnot, you can leave a comment down below how you found this video. But yeah, I will share it with all the different pods that I belong to, because I know that different people belong to different pods and not all belong to the same one. So, but there is overlap, right? So there is some overlap. I'm doing a lot of this, guys. This is very serious. All right, so that is a super short video for today. I just wanted to answer that super quick question since it's a really common one that I am asked. And another pod that you could join, segue, is my Patreon pod, the supporters of what I do and my channel. I love you guys. My Patreon pod is amazing and is at patreon.com/Vancouver Mermaid. There will be a link in the description box below. I do monthly behind the scenes update videos. I do giveaways as I reach goals on there as well. I post behind the scenes content, ideas, questions, polls and whatnot for different tiers and things like this over on my Patreon pod. So those guys are awesome. I love you guys and thank you so much for your support. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without my patrons. So I'm pretty fortunate that way. All right, if you liked this video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss any of my mermaid adventures. And thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. All right guys, happy swimming, bye.